Good afternoon. My name is Foteni Panagi, and I am the Master of Ceremony for the opening part of the 10th Annual Scientific Conference of the Center of Applied Neuroscience. Before we begin the webinar, we would like to inform you that this is a live streaming event through the University of Cyprus website and through the CAN Facebook. Professor Tassos Christofidis, Rector of the University of Cyprus. Professor Helen Thiaka, Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences and Education. Professor Fofi Konstantinidou, Director of the Center of Applied Neuroscience of the University of Cyprus. Professor, members of the CAN Faculty Board and the CAN Advisory Board, dear members of the Cyprus Psychologists Association and the Cyprus Stroke Association, esteemed invited speakers from Cyprus and abroad, dear delegates, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The Center of Applied Neuroscience of the University of Cyprus warmly welcomes you to the 10th Annual Scientific Conference entitled Management of Public Health Crisis, Insights from Neuroscience, Psychology, and Epidemiology. This online conference takes place today in anticipation of World Mental Health Day, which is observed on the 10th of October every year, and in view of the recent pandemic COVID-19. A warm virtual welcome to our international speakers from the University of Leeds in the United Kingdom, Professor of Psychology Jerry O'Connor, and from the Imperial College London, Dr. Adam Hampshire. A warm welcome also to Dr. Georgios Nikolopoulos from the UCY Medical School. I'm delighted to see psychologists, psychiatrists, neuroscientists, social scientists, and epidemiologists, as well as researchers and students from various disciplines present at the conference today. The scientific conference is coordinated by CAN and is being held in cooperation with the Department of Psychology of the University of Cyprus and the Cyprus Psychologists Association. We thank the department and the association for the enthusiastic and kind support of this important conference. The conference presentations focus on issues related to the pandemic, such as research priority, distance assessment of cognitive functions, and the contribution of an interdisciplinary approach to public health. The annual scientific conference of the Center of Applied Neuroscience aims to act as a point of reference and networking for the scientific community of Cyprus, while contributing to the acquisition of knowledge about the latest developments concerning the study of the human brain and the relationship between biology and cognitive functions and behavior. We hope that you will find the conference informative and worthwhile. Without further ado, I kindly invite the Rector of the University of Cyprus, Professor Tassos Christofidis, for his welcoming address via the online platform. Mr. Rector, the floor is yours.
The University of Cyprus welcomes you to the 10th Annual Conference of the Center for Applied Neuroscience with a focus on management of public health crisis, insights from neuroscience, psychology, and epidemiology. CAN faculty have been the leaders of brain research in Cyprus. The Center for Applied Neuroscience was established 9 years ago through competitive funding from the Cyprus Research Innovation Foundation as part of the Strategic Infrastructure Grant umbrella. CAN is an approved research center by the Cyprus government and the only independent research center in the School of Social Sciences and Education. The mission of the center is to conduct basic and applied research and contribute to the development of new knowledge, methods and technologies that advance science and benefit health, quality of life, and society. Therefore, CAN not only contributes to the creation of new knowledge, but also plays a significant role in the greater Cypriot society. Can researchers had a strong presence and were on the forefront during the public health crisis resulting from the pandemic last spring. They engaged in systematic media presence, TV, radio, and the press in an effort to raise public awareness and support the public on the psychological effects of COVID-19 and propose strategies to manage the fear, anxiety, and discomfort created during the climax of the pandemic and lockdown measures. They have also participated in the university's campaign to raise public awareness on the significance of research in managing public health crises. It is clear that the center's research teams are committed in accomplishing their mission through the following main activities: training of new researchers through participation in various research activities and in the use of contemporary methodologies, contributing to the international arena through research publications, presentations, and participation in European and North American networks, serving on leadership positions on international organizations, and participating as partners or coordinators in EU-funded projects, developing culturally valid assessment and treatment protocols that benefit the Cypriot public, providing clinical training opportunities through research participation to young professionals who are students in the applied graduate programs of the Department of Psychology, establishing the physical and research infrastructure for high-level experimentation, connecting to the local community through outreach activities, educational workshops, collaborating with government agencies and NGOs. In fact, this year's CAN conference is organized in partnership with the Nicosia E-Symposium on Crisis, Disaster, and Trauma Psychology, Lessons Learned from Across Europe, an event organized this morning by the Cyprus Psychological Association and the Standing Committee on Crisis, Disaster, and Trauma Psychology of the European Federation of Psychologists Association. The establishment of research centers like CAN have created a significant momentum for the university and the Cypriot society. The University Administration and Rectors Council will continue to work closely with the center's director, faculty, and the advisory board to ensure that the center can fulfill its vision and continue to expand its role and position within the neuroscience community nationally and internationally. In closing, I would like to extend a warm welcome to the invited speakers, e-poster, and database presenters. I am confident that the conference will stimulate great discussions and will offer opportunities for collaboration. The online conference platform removes all geographical boundaries, and I welcome all of you to the University of Cyprus. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you, Mr. Rector, for your interest and support of the conference. I next invite the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences and Education of the University of Cyprus, Professor Helen Thiaka, for her welcome address. Professor Thiaka.
Hello, everybody. The School of Social and Educational Sciences welcomes you to the 10th Annual Conference of the Center for Applied Neuroscience. The school consists of 4 departments with various undergraduate, master's, and doctoral programs: education, social and political sciences, psychology, and law. Within our school, CAN is the largest research center, and it is central to the center's mission to conduct basic and applied research and contribute to the development of new knowledge, methods, and technologies that advance science and benefit health, quality of life, and the society at large. You've already heard that the conference theme is Management of Public Health Crisis, Insights from Neuroscience, Psychology, and Epidemiology. And this is contemporary and a testimony to the center's commitment to address significant societal changes. I have been watching closely the center's development and successful growth since its creation in 2011. Clearly, the center has been serving as an umbrella for the development of interdisciplinary work in the neurosciences at the University of Cyprus and the country in general. Through its activities, the center has made significant contributions to the Department of Psychology and to the School of Social and Educational Sciences on the whole. As our rector has already referred to them, I will just close and extend a warm welcome to you, all invited speakers, those present and those attending through the internet, and the researchers who are presenting their work today. I'm confident that the conference will stimulate a good discussion and will help us understand what is going on with COVID-19 and help us get on with it. A warm welcome to you all from the University of Cyprus and from the School of Social and Educational Sciences. I wish you a very productive conference.
We thank the Dean. Next, I would like to ask Professor Fofi Konstantinidou of the Department of Psychology and Director of the Center of Applied Neuroscience for her welcome speech. The podium is yours.
Good afternoon. I hope you can all hear me okay. If I can have a thumbs up or a yes or something in the chat indicating that the people online can hear me okay, that would be awesome. Okay, I assume you can hear me okay. Professor Tasso Christofidis, Rector of the University of Cyprus, Professor Helen Ftiaka, Dean of the School of Social Sciences and Education Sciences, distinguished guests, dear colleagues from Cyprus and abroad, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the 10th Annual Scientific Conference of the Center for Applied Neuroscience of the University of Cyprus. Our theme this year, Management of Public Health Crisis, Insights from Neuroscience, Psychology, and Epidemiology, is one, of course, of contemporary and of international interest. Our annual conference has become a tradition. It helps us fulfill our vision. As the leading research center for the study of brain, mind, and human behavior in Cyprus, the Center for Applied Neuroscience, or CAN, aspires to be the flagship center for neuroscience research and collaboration in the greater geographical region. This year's theme reflects the challenges and opportunities created by COVID-19. For the first time, researchers, service delivery providers, and governments around the world are faced with similar challenges. The realization that we live in a global environment and that we're all interconnected has never been more real. COVID-19 has brought to the forefront the need for collaboration across disciplines and across nations. In the field of neuroscience, interdisciplinary collaboration is critical in order to develop new and improved methodologies that will help us understand and describe brain-behavior relationships. Our 6 research teams at CAN are committed in research excellence. As members of an applied research center, we're also interested in how our research translates and contributes into solving real-world problems within the larger domain of behavior and neuroscience using a lifespan approach. We incorporate traditional psychological, psychometric, neuropsychological, behavioral, and experimental paradigms, along with cutting-edge computational, imaging, virtual reality, and psychophysiological technologies. We investigate language, cognition, behavior, and affect in healthy individuals across the lifespan and in individuals who may have difficulties in these areas due to developmental and acquired conditions such as learning disabilities, aging, acquired brain injury, anxiety, and mood disorders. These conditions cause significant burden to the healthcare, educational, welfare, and social systems, both in Cyprus and internationally. Research suggests that COVID-19 has generated a new clinical category of patients who will require our attention due to the impact of the condition on the human brain. There is mounting evidence on the resulting cognitive and behavioral deficits associated with the disease. Additionally, the psychosocial effects of COVID-19 in the general public and in special groups of citizens, such as the elderly and those with existing health conditions, create an additional health and societal burden. Our teams at CAN investigate these effects from the start of the pandemic in Cyprus. Interdisciplinary collaboration is key to our work. We collaborate with other centers within the university and across institutions internationally in order to identify genetic, health, and brain biomarkers that contribute to the disease state. This commitment to interdisciplinary collaboration resonates throughout this year's conference. Our invited speakers have specialties in clinical psychology, psychophysiology, cognitive neuroscience, neuropsychology, epidemiology, and biostatistics. We're proud because CAN has been an attractive professional home to young researchers. Through the years, we have specifically, since our establishment in 2011, we have employed more than 60 graduate, doctoral, and postdoctoral researchers through our externally funded projects. Currently, we employ about 30 researchers and another 40 to 50 undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral students are receiving their research training at our center. Our goal is the continuous development of our researchers in cutting-edge methodologies, thus creating a critical mass of expertise at the center and in Cyprus. We are pleased because our center's commitment to capacity building has a spreading effect. Our former doctoral and postdoctoral researchers are now holding research and faculty positions at other private and public universities and research centers in Cyprus, Europe, and North America, while others enrich the private and public sectors in Cyprus. The past 2 years have been pivotal for CAN as we're entering our second phase of development and look ahead beyond 2020. We are currently participating in 18 active research projects with a budget of more than 15 million euros, 12 of which we are coordinators. This provides an opportunity to advance our research agendas, to train new researchers, and to develop new research and treatment methodologies through our collaborations. In addition to our capacity building and contribution to the state of the art, the center is committed to improving quality of life. We partner with NGOs, advocacy groups, and patient organizations. Through our research activities, we have provided free assessments to thousands of children, teenagers, younger and older adults, thus playing a significant role in the prevention and management of developmental disabilities, dementia, and psychological conditions. In closing, in the past 20 years, clinical and educational fields have benefited tremendously from improvements in research and technology. Yet a significant amount of applied and clinical research does not make an impact into daily practice. Why does it take an average of 30 years for research to translate from the lab to the actual clinical setting? How can we expedite this process? COVID-19 has brought additional challenges for research and has created a significant disruption in data collection and in service delivery. How can we modify our research in the midst of a pandemic while maintaining research integrity? How can we manage challenging health conditions safely and differently? These are some of the questions addressed in today's conference. Our annual conference is a testimony of our systematic effort to become a catalyst for further research development in the brain sciences on the island and the region. While we miss the face-to-face interaction, we welcome participants from all over the world to our event today. We're confident that the speakers will stimulate your interest and offer opportunities for discussion, interaction, and future research collaborations. We're honored that Daryl O'Connor, School of Psychology, University of Leeds, Dr. Adam Hampshire, the Imperial College London, and Dr. George Nikolopoulos from the UCY Medical School have enthusiastically accepted our invitation to present. I would like to congratulate the many researchers presenting their work via the poster presentations and the data blitz. My appreciation to my colleagues and members of the faculty board, Georgia Panayiotou, Anthi Lutsiou, Timothy Papadopoulos, Marios Abramidis, and George Spanoudis. We're thankful to our postdoctoral researchers, Maria Constantinou, Marios Theodorou, and Bothini Viaouli for reviewing the poster and data blitz abstracts. I'm indebted to Savas Evripidis and Angeliki Sari-Kyriakidou for the organization and administrative support, and Ms. Galia Christou for the ICT support, and to Ms. Fotini Panagi for emceeing the event today. Grateful to the many volunteers from our research teams who have been instrumental in our ability to organize this hybrid event, and to our session moderators. As always, a heartfelt thanks to the Department of Psychology for co-sponsoring this event, and to our appreciation to the Cyprus Psychologists Association and to the Cyprus Stroke Association for joining us today. Of course, many thanks to the Rector of the University of Cyprus and to the Dean of the School of Social Sciences and Education for always supporting our center's efforts and activities. And last but not least, a warm welcome to all of you who are joining us and honoring us with your presence today. Now, before I go on to present our first invited speakers, I have a few housekeeping items. As we've mentioned, this is a hybrid event. And I do want to advise that this meeting is being recorded and it will be available through our YouTube channel. The event is also being broadcasted via live streaming on our Facebook site. All webinar attendees have already been muted and their video is turned off. We do expect to have about 10 minutes available for discussion at the end of each session. So if you have questions, please type them in the Q&A feature and we will address as many of them as possible during that time. Now, it is a great honor to introduce our first invited speaker, Professor Daryl O'Connor. Professor O'Connor is Professor of Psychology, a health psychologist, and psychobiologist at the School of Psychology, University of Leeds. Daryl has an extensive bio, so I'm going to try and do some justice by presenting some of the key highlights. Daryl's current research focuses on investigating effects of stress and psychological interventions on health outcomes such as suicide behavior, eating behaviors, and cortisol levels, and understanding the role of individual differences and variables such as perseverative cognition and conscientiousness within the stress process, exploring the effects of implementation, intentions-based interventions on screening behaviors. Daryl is a past chair of the British Psychological Society's Division of Health Psychology and the BPS Psychobiology section, and is currently chair of BPS Research Board and chair of the European Federation of Psychology Associations, Board of Scientific Affairs, and is trustee of the BPS. Daryl is also was also joint editor-in-chief of the journal Psychology and Health from 2011 and 2019, and is the incoming editor-in-chief of Cogent Psychology. Daryl has also been actively involved in promoting open science and improving psychological science nationally and across Europe. His work has been published extensively in leading international journals in his field and has frequently featured on radio and television and in the national and international press. So it is a great honor to present Professor Daryl O'Connor to our 10th annual scientific conference.